Okay. So, hi guys. My name is Ieta, and I am sharing about my life in Tokyo. I graduated not too long ago, and then I decided to move to Tokyo to pursue higher education, aka going to college. All my classes are in English, so thankfully I can do well, but I'm from the States. So I just want to share about my life in Tokyo, what it's been like moving here, what it's like living on my own and being so young at the same time, difficulties and things that I've learned about myself and this community in Japan. So what's it like living in Tokyo? It's still surreal. I still don't believe that I'm actually living here. It's kind of crazy that I've moved to a whole new country where originally I've never been familiar with the language. I started learning Japanese. I gained interest in my last year of high school, took a course online, really simple, basic things. And then when I entered university, I started taking more rigorous Japanese classes. But it wasn't until, so I was a full year on Zoom doing classes, and then finally I could come to Japan to continue in-person classes. And it wasn't until I came here that I was finally able to connect the dots of learning Japanese, learning a language. You can learn from a textbook, but it's not nearly the same if you don't use it every day and you're not immersed in it. And so getting to hear what I've been learning and use what I've been learning and then add on to it things that I've never heard before, it's been really exciting. But it's also been difficult, of course. Many times where I was frustrated, not in others, but more myself for not knowing enough Japanese. But you can never know enough and then move somewhere. Heck, some people move to a whole nother country without even trying to study the language. So I thought, I'm just gonna do my best to learn Japanese, use what I know, and learn along the way. And don't be disappointed whenever I make mistakes or go through a difficult situation, but to be patient with myself and with others. So that's more like the language aspect of it. I'm continuing learning Japanese in university, and then through friends that I meet at school who are Japanese, and outside I've also made some neighbor friends around my neighborhood. So that's been pretty nice, but difficult, of course. Culture-wise, culture shocks. I don't think I've had a big culture shock in any way, actually. I did come to Japan 3.5 years before, just on a short school trip. So I was able to first engage and experience Japanese culture and language, and even at that time, I did not experience a big culture shock. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's I chose to move here for university because I knew that I have some share similarities with the Japanese culture. So I thought it'll make the transition easier between cultures for me. However, as I've lived here longer, I noticed some of my American culture is a little stronger than what I expected. Because I originally thought, I associate more with Japanese culture than American, but I found out I'm a good mix of both. And in some cases, for example, I really do love talking to strangers. In America, it's really common to just say hello, good morning, to just random people, or like when you're waiting in a grocery store line. You can strike up a conversation with like the person behind you or in front of you. You can talk about anything to anyone. But in Japan, everyone, especially Tokyo, it's a big city, so everyone's really independent and really focused on what they're doing and what they're doing. So in that sense, I'm a little sad sometimes that I can't as easily meet other people. However, within my neighborhood, I can like say good morning and いってらっしゃい、行ってきます, like I'm coming back to my neighbors, which is really nice, like my おばあさんとか, like a grandmother, older lady neighbor friend. As for something else that I noticed is Japanese and Americans have different ways of expressing themselves, or a lack thereof. In America, it's very common to show your facial expressions to convey exactly how you feel. If you think something's gross, you'll make a gross, like, disgusted face. If you're really happy, then you'll smile really joyfully. If you're upset, your eyebrows will go down. It's things like that, that we just naturally show exactly how we feel or exactly how we're thinking. However, in Japan, generally, it's not like that all the time. Most people have this facade. It's like this one face that I've noticed, especially like on the train. It's a kind of like a lack of emotion compared in the American perspective. But for Japan, that's really common. You want to show that you're at peace, that you're content, that there's no high or lows in emotion, and that's normal. That's normal for Japan. So it's just coming to realize that I will never be like that. I tried in the beginning a bit to hold back on how expressing how I feel. For example, if I'm on the train, there's a lot of people, and maybe I look at my phone and I receive a text that makes me really happy from a friend or family member, and I want to smile immediately and like maybe even chuckle, laugh out loud a little bit. But for others on the train, that is a little strange. Usually they would just read the text and I'm not sure, maybe smile just a little, but nothing like laughing out loud. So I first tried to hide my emotions a little more, but I found in Murimuri it's impossible for me to contain my expressions and my emotions to a certain degree. So I've embraced that part of my culture of expressing exactly how I feel and exactly what I want to say too. Comes to words too. I'm a bit more honest and direct compared to a lot of Japanese. There's something called tatamae and honne, and that is, tatamae is like the facade that you put on to please everyone, and it's kind of like being fake, but it's like really cultural thing, so it's not in the doesn't have such a negative connotation as being fake does. But honne is your real emotions, your real kimochi, your feelings. So I prefer to be more honne, to express how I really feel, compared to always putting on a facade, I guess. Now, this goes specifically for living in Tokyo, and I'm sure it's like this for other big cities all around the world, is fashion. Fashion. Tokyo, everyone dresses nicely. Women, men really care. Coming from America, maybe it's not like this everywhere, but men really care about their hair. It's really neatly groomed, generally. Not everyone, but generally. Neatly groomed. They've got jewelry sometimes, like earrings or necklace, or this is usually younger men. And just really well styled in general, and goes same for females. Very put together outfits. Their hair is always perfect. And at first I was like, oh gosh, I gotta step my game up. I gotta do better on my fashion. I can't be wearing jeans all the time. I gotta, dress it up a bit. But then I reverted back to like, this is not truly me. I'm not all into that fashion every single day. There are some days where I'll dress up a bit, and then there's also days where I'll just wear jeans and a t-shirt, or jeans, Converse, comfy jacket. It's like today I was feeling comfy, and I was like, I don't really care that I don't fit in with the general high fashion, not high fashion, but put together fashion compared to the rest of people in Japan. Also, uniforms are a really big thing for students. So middle school, sometimes elementary, and then also high school students all wear uniforms. Seifuku to you, they're called seifuku, and I think so. From a young age, that look of being put together, it started from a young age that I didn't experience. Growing up, I didn't have uniforms or such strict uniforms. So I do say though, they are very cute. All the uniforms, it's adorable to see it on young children and even high schoolers. Yeah. Of course, transportation is completely different. I'm from Georgia, where we mainly and mostly, use cars. Coming here, especially Tokyo, you don't need a car. And it's quite actually unnecessary to have a car in general in Tokyo. So I had to learn how to navigate trains, which was very new for me. Thankfully though, at first we were living in dorms for the first 3 months. So with my dorm mates and friends that I met along the way, they kind of taught us how to get to school, how to, do the whole how to get a commuter pass, how to go through and navigate the stations. It's like driving now. I don't have to think. I don't have to think at all when I do it, unless I'm trying to get somewhere. Just as I would when I'm driving, plug it into Google Maps and let the directions guide me. I do the same for taking the train. But yeah, it's sometimes get a little confused or lost within a station because they can get so busy, so many exits and people and passageways that it's confusing. But I do like the trains because they're very on time in Japan and generally so clean. I've never been to a other train station like in New York or other big city, but I can guess that Tokyo is one of the cleanest, or Japan, the cleanest train stations. It's just so well kept that I'm so glad that I took the train here rather than another country or city. Okay, so thanks for listening and watching. I hope you got to learn a little bit about what it's like for coming from America, moving to Tokyo, and I'll continue to make different videos about different aspects of living in Tokyo, things that I've struggled with and things that I've learned and experienced, so many different things that I want to share to encourage you and your friends and family to either travel or take a chance on something that you never thought you could learn to love, even if it is a big challenge. So yeah, thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video whenever that comes out. Bye.